Hello everyone, welcome to this week's live webinar for Path to Profit. Welcome especially to everybody who's new, whether you're in the great Northwest or up in Canada, or both in some cases. You'll notice that you are by default in mute mode, and that's by design from the system. We will from time to time unmute you, okay? But you can use the question box to type in your questions. All right, which is what we're going to be working on here for the first few moments. Everything is recorded. This is being recorded now, so some of you may be listening to this in recorded mode if you're getting this after today's date. No matter what, when you do get the email from Beverly the day after these webinars, please be sure to follow her instructions. She's usually giving you some type of an update. Sometimes she's giving you updated material. Sometimes it's a system upgrade. She's also giving you the recording of the webinar, okay, and also the webinar schedule. So I can tell you, for example, we're adding a webinar at the end of the month here. The week we're going to have a webinar on, looks like, is that Thursday night? Thursday night the 31st. We do have a webinar that we didn't have previously scheduled. So everybody, please put that in your schedules. That's 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, that's on the 31st. So look for that, and definitely make sure you read through that. Pretty important. So welcome aboard to all the new folks, particularly if you're from Canada. This is my second week up here in a row, and we'll be back at the end of September in Canada. But I'm traveling next week for conferences. The week after, I'll be in Ottawa, Montreal, Vermont, New Hampshire, and I think that's it. And after that, I'll be in the state of Massachusetts for the entire month of September. Until the last week of September, I'll be back in the Toronto area. So in any case, that's my schedule. Please keep up with that. And also look at the time tree link in the emails you get to schedule one-on-one strategy calls. So okay, let's go ahead and move forward into some content. So Dennis from Denver, Colorado is asking, is the workshop the first after distributing investor books? So the way this works is this: the booklets are designed to get you into the game in a sort of a non, an easier way. Let me put it that way. It's doesn't require as much confidence to do a booklet as it does to do a workshop. That's why we like to encourage people to do the booklet first. And if you have a lot of experience in brokerage, or you have experience investing, by all means, if you feel you've got the gumption, do the workshop right out of the gate. Absolutely. However, the good news is, if you do the booklet, sometimes you can use that to be sort of a primer for your first workshop, and you can even combine the two techniques. So you can bring your most recent version of your booklet into your workshop. Okay, so instead of just bringing sample properties, bring a booklet that obviously has sample properties in it. Also, you can bring updated inventory. There's a lot of things you can do, okay, to combine these efforts. And that came up in today's class, by the way, which is this. There's 24 different campaigns and growing. I think we're 25 now. Some of them absolutely can be used with other campaigns that can be used jointly. What we ask you to do is just do them the way they're designed first. Then you can get creative. In other words, learn the system first, and you can get creative and combine marketing campaigns for your particular niche group and your particular marketplace. So Dennis, to answer your question, I hope that answered your question. Okay, let's see. Dennis, do the venues provide the AV equipment? Dennis, some of them do. So if you use a library, they often do have AV equipment there, and usually they'll let you have it for free. Okay, if you're using your church or mosque or synagogue, whichever the case may be, that also sometimes they will have their own audio video equipment. If you're going to use your office, your real estate office, most offices have their own projector. So most offices have their own projector. Now, if you're going to use, Dennis, like a local municipal building, use the community room in the municipal building, often they won't have audio video equipment. Some of them will, but a lot of times they don't. So what I ended up doing early on is I bought my own projector, and the good news is, for all of you here, they're actually very inexpensive today compared to what they were 10 years ago. I mean, we used to have to spend, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 on a decent projector. Now for a few $100s, you can get an excellent projector, okay, that you can keep with you and bring with you. I mean, the one I currently use now, I bought last December. It was a new one. My old one, by the way, was from 2002, and I spent $2,000 on it. And the one I just bought last December is far, far more powerful. Actually, it's movie theater grade, and it cost me a whopping $600. So just to give you an idea of what's happening with the price of this technology. So the answer is usually the libraries will, Dennis. Your office typically will. Churches usually will. But municipal buildings often don't. And also, if you get a classroom at your local public school, which they will do too, by the way, they may have equipment, but it's not in the individual classrooms. They usually keep it controlled by the front office, and that by the time you get there at night, that door is usually locked, so you won't have access to it. Let's see. Kristen, everybody's saying hello. Okay. Let's see. We got. Let's see. I can hear and see. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm just looking for more questions, guys, before we get started. So Michael says, okay. Thanks, Gary. I too received my first call back from the letter template. And that was Michael O'Neill. Michael, that is excellent. It's amazing what that letter will do. I mean, we've had some tremendous results. And I will tell you this, guys, the letter, you know, when I was 100% in production, obviously I'm doing a lot more training now, but I was 100% in production. There were markets where that letter accounted for easily 75%, if not more, of my listings. That's how our profit is. So Michael, congratulations on you know, I guess that was your first batch of letters. That's excellent news. I appreciate you giving me the feedback there. So in any case, let's move forward here and look for more questions. Let's see. Okay. This is from Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan. Okay, so Jonathan is asking, you recommend as an agent starting out looking to invest to start out picking up rental properties first and do flips later. As an agent starting out, should I also be focusing on investors looking for rental properties? Actually, you might think that would be the case, Jonathan, but actually, I would work with whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever comes your way, which means whatever your clients are looking for. If it's flips, then work with the flippers. If it's rentals, then work with landlords. I will tell you this. When you do niche it down, for example, I would tell you, we know that some of the professional service providers like chiropractors and dentists, they will lean towards rentals. Teachers flips. So if your niche group is with teachers, you're going to be doing more flip activities. Okay, if you're working with chiropractors and dentists, your activities are more associated with rentals. So for you personally, yes, I suggest you pick up rentals first before flipping. I know it sounds contrarian and even counterintuitive sometimes, but just know this. When you build a portfolio of rentals, you've got passive income coming in that's there no matter what the market's doing. All right, flipping is better executed in certain markets, and in certain markets where I would not flip. In a declining market, I would definitely not want to flip. Okay. However, you can still flip. I'm just saying as a general rule. So the good news is this: when you pick up rentals, you build a solid platform of rentals. Now you've got a solid platform of equity and cash flow. Then when you go to flip a home, if it doesn't work out so well, you're still in the game with your rental properties. By contrast, if you flip first and it doesn't go so well, like your first one, it not only can knock you off the horse, it can knock you literally out of the game. Okay, and I've seen it happen enough times to be a believer myself, and I've had other people tell me the same thing. That yes, they want to. It makes sense to buy rentals first. Again, when it comes to your clients, you go with what the clients want. So, good question. Okay, let's see. This is Jeff. Jeff is asking. Okay, I sent out 200 letters last week to multifamily homes. I received 2 calls back on them today. Looking forward to more. Wow, that's pretty fast, Jeff. So, Jeff, if that's a lot of letters, by the way. So let me know, Jeff, if you use the letter the way it comes out of the box and what your audience was, because we could probably help you narrow that down. If you want to set up a strategy call, Jeff, just let me know, all right? To talk just about that. So 200 letters. is a lot. However, if you can handle the call volume, absolutely do it. I'm glad to hear that you've already got calls coming in. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's jump into workshops, right? So first things first is this. Let's go to meetup.com, okay? And the reason we're going to start with this is, as far as getting butts in the seats, this is one of the best tools you can use. And I'll kind of walk you through a little bit of a scenario here. So I'm going to reduce my panel here, so I'm not going to be able to see you for a moment, but I just want to kind of walk you through this. Now, I'm already in Meetup. I can't remember where I've signed up so many times, I've lost track of it. I'm not even sure where I am. I think I'm in Texas, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Virginia. In any case, what I'm going to do is show you this. The first thing we want you to do is look for groups that are in your genre, okay? So, I mean, let me see if I can log in here. Hang on one second. Oh, there we go. Let's see if this will work. Okay, now let's do this. Where was I? I was in Des Moines, Iowa recently. Whoops. Des Moines, Iowa. Hope I spelled it correctly. And we're going to do, keep it 50 miles. So we're looking for meetups related to real estate. So let's see what we get in Des Moines, Iowa. Okay. All right, RIA main meetings. So obviously there's a RIA group in Des Moines. RIA, for those of you in Canada, RIA is there's investor clubs in Canada. In the States, the biggest group is called RIA, Real Estate Investors of America. They're almost in every decent sized town and city, sometimes multiple groups per city, which happens a lot. So the reason why we want to look and see what other groups are out there is we kind of want to see what our competition is, right? Now they're giving me all kinds of updates here from other groups. We don't really necessarily need to see that. But what we do want to see is this. Let's click on groups, and you can see all the groups in Des Moines, Iowa related to real estate. Des Moines Real Estate Investors Meetup, DSM Real Estate Investing Meetup, Real Estate Investors Association and Landlord Association. That looks like that's probably a good one. Okay, and let's see what others we have. By the way, they've got the largest membership so far at 198 of the 3 groups so far. Des Moines Network Marketing Meetup, 335. And in case you can see, there's a couple groups already. Tell me when there are new meetup groups, and you can have Meetup notify you when there's other groups. So what I want to do is this. Click on one of the groups, and so please, take notes here, and also remember tomorrow you'll get the recording of this. You can replay this. What we're looking at is we're going to look at their description here, okay, and we're also going to look at, whoops, excuse me, went a little bit too fast here. This over here, this is really important. This is the main thing I want to show you, which is it's called We're About. And what this does is it shows you the keywords and key phrases that this group is using, okay, to identify themselves. And here's why this is really, really important. So I'm going to kind of slow myself down here so this will make a lot more sense. When you create your own group, you're not going to make it exactly like this group. See, this group has in there real estate investing, Des Moines, Central Iowa, real estate investors, real estate foreclosures, investment education, investment networking, real estate. Everything is about real estate. Landlords, first-time home buyers, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Now, I don't know why they threw first-time home buyer in here, but whatever, that's what they did. The difference with your groups is we want you to focus your groups on specific groups of people that what we call niche groups. A niche group is a group of people that have a common interest, something in common, some character trait, similar vocations like nursing and teaching, for example, similar hobby, music, photography, similar lifestyles like they're runners or native language spoken, ethnicity. We've done groups, we did an investor group for Russian-speaking women. We've done investor groups for parents of preschool children, okay? And the point I'm trying to make here is when you put in your keywords and key phrases in this section here, don't just make them all real estate related. Put in keywords and key phrases that identify your group personally. You would say single moms, parents of preschool children, photographers, musicians, whatever the case may be, teachers, nurses, things like that, okay? And here's why. Once you create your group, which we're going to go over here in a second, so I'll show you that in a moment. When you do create your group, once you've hit it and it's been approved, within 72 hours, Meetup is going to go out there to all the other Meetup groups in your area that have matching keywords and or matching key phrases. And they're going to invite the members of all those groups to join your group. So it's really important that you use all the keywords and key phrases you can, and you also do a very clear job of identifying your target audience. And that's why we kind of weave in other keywords and key phrases that speak about our group, not necessarily real estate related, but about the hobby, the lifestyle, the vocation, whatever the case may be, okay? So when it comes to real estate terms, keywords and key phrases, i.e., you can clone these, you can copy these. In fact, when you create your group, you're going to be prompted to select keywords and key phrases that Meetup has seen have the most success in other groups like yours or close to yours all over, not just in your area, but all over the network, okay? So in any case, let's go back up to the top here. And you can look at the description and you can see it's not too lengthy. However, it's somewhat descriptive. You know, this is our Meetup homepage for LA RIA, excuse me, Urbandale, Iowa, all right, and Two Rivers RIA of Central Iowa. Anyone can join this Meetup site who is interested in real estate investing or entrepreneur activities. And key phrase here is entrepreneur activities. Investors by nature are entrepreneurial. So if you're on the phone, if you're on the conference call tonight, the webinar, chances are you're either an investor or an agent. Either way, you're entrepreneurial, okay? So it's great to put that in there. They talk about wholesaling, flipping, short sales, some of those things I don't really care for, but they're out there. Private money, which we can help you figure that out too. Foreclosures, discounted notes, tax liens, the whole 9 yards. All right, they tell you why they're there, and basically that you can post things on there. They give you the calendars of their events and so forth. All right. Now, what I want to do is this. I want to go back to the top. Okay. So hang on a second here. And if you look here, it says create Meetup. So I want everybody, if you want to do this, if you want to follow along, go ahead and bring up another session on your computer and go ahead and type in meetup.com. All right. And you can click on create Meetup. If you just want to follow along with me, that's perfectly fine. You can take notes and then practice this on your own later on. So now that we've seen another Meetup group, all right, and you can see their description and see their keywords and key phrases, you know that you can find, by the way, their upcoming events, past events, things like that. Yes, you can promote your upcoming events on here, which is another awesome tool. In fact, let's just see real quick before we move forward if this group is promoting. They are. Look, this Meetup repeats the third Thursday of every month through Thursday, September 21st, October 19th, November 16th. You can click on and register for these locations, right? So you can do the same thing in your Meetup group. You can also see that people are posting comments down here, right? And you can basically have conversations on there. So let's go back to the top where we were just for a moment ago and click on create group, all right? And by the way, there is a webinar out there. If you go to the silver level membership section, let me just go there now so I can show you what I'm talking about, okay? Let's see, my investment services. Okay, I'm going to click on members area. So remember this, go to my investment services, click on members area. Then you're going to go here and click on silver level. Okay, everybody by default is a silver level member. Okay, at least for a year, if not longer. In fact, I'll tell you, I think it's what is it? More than 85% of our students stay on after the first year. Whoops, sorry, jumped ahead way too far. Here's what I was going to show you. Right after the community site, and by the way, if you're this is important. If you're new to the program and you're an agent, please click on here and go out and create your own profile on this website. I think there's 941 of you right now. Okay, and also there's an instructional video on how to do that. Okay, which is right here. Watch this video to show you how to create your profile on the community site. Okay, and once you go below the newsletter, you're going to see a special session here. It's called Watch Our Webinar, How to Use Meetup.com. So you can also watch this. It's already recorded. It's about 15 minutes long, and it gives you the basics on how to use Meetup to set up your first workshop. Let's go back to Meetup. I just want to show you where this is. We're going to go back to Meetup now. All right, now this is assuming I'm in Albuquerque. I'm no longer there, obviously. At least I've been there many times, but I'm not there now. So let's change location, and let's just make it, let's see, Des Moines, Iowa. And by the way, welcome aboard to all the folks from Des Moines. Search for it. What will your meetup be about? So this is step number 1, or actually step number 2. Your meetup is going to be about real estate, and let's call it real estate investing. Okay. Now, if you look here, Meetup went out there and found a lot of matching keywords and key phrases having to do with real estate investing. First time real estate investing, that will be a good one to choose. Real estate investment education, that will be a good one to choose. Beginner real estate investing, that will be a good one to choose. Real estate investing meetings, that will be a good one to choose. I would definitely choose all of these: cash flow, landlords, investing. And if you click next, you'll see there's a whole lot more. All right, different ones to choose. Oops, sorry, we didn't. We have to choose some of these. Let's just go ahead and choose them. All right, I'll choose that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. And I believe you get to choose 15. Okay. And you can even type in your own, by the way. All right. So let's do buy and hold, which is important. Definitely do real estate. That'll cast a wide net. Real estate investing, real estate investors, real estate networking, investing for retirement, like that, creative real estate investing, real estate investing education. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let's go ahead and click next now. What will your meetup's name be? Okay. So this is where I would say something like this. Okay. Des Moines real estate investors forum for parents of, whoops, I'm gonna have to shorten this. Let's make this RE, excuse me. Shorten this up, RE, parents of preschool kids. Okay, we can change this any way we want, but essentially we're identifying a group of people who want to invest, and they're also parents of preschool children. Right? Describe who should join, what your meetup will do, et cetera, et cetera. Now this is really important, guys. I'm not going to type a lot in here, obviously, because you can do that, but I want to point a few things out, so please write this down. The intent of the workshop is to create a community for investors in your area, and if you like the niche group format, it's a group of investors in your area who have who share a common interest. Okay, so you want to identify that group in more detail here in your description. What you also want to say is we're gonna be meeting on a monthly basis. You can put it in there. There's no fee. You can call it nonprofit. Okay, which brings up a very important point. If you're going to use a public facility like a library, the librarian probably is going to ask you when you go to meet them to secure your room if this is for-profit or nonprofit. Make sure you say it's nonprofit, because you're not going to charge any kind of a fee or dues in there, and you're not going to be pushing your own listings. You're not going to be selling real estate inside the workshop. The workshop is not designed to sell real estate. The workshop is designed to build relationships, and those relationships will what allow you to sell real estate, okay? So you want to make sure that that's clear, because otherwise the librarian is going to say, well, that sounds like a for-profit venture, and we won't allow that in our public library. So obviously you intend to make a profit from your efforts. It's just going to be indirect. The direct benefit is you're providing a valuable service to the community, which is the second requirement. Your activity needs to be community oriented, and it certainly is. You're serving investors in the community. So what I'm getting out of here is just please be careful in your description that you make it service oriented and it speaks about your community. Okay, it should be, remember the old saying, WIIFM, what's in it for me? In this case, it's what's in it for them, the people who you want to attract to your group. Okay, so, and you can look at other descriptions to model after. That's why I showed you that first. I wanted to show you another meetup group to show that you can actually get a lot of ideas from other people's descriptions. Okay, in any case, that's the next step. So let's just type in parents here just to have something in there so we can hit next. Okay, let's see, check out these examples. Here's some examples. Okay, I don't know why I didn't like that. Parents who want to invest for their children's education. Okay, obviously ours will be a lot longer than that, but maybe this will help us get to the next step. Looks like it is. Okay, what it means to be a meetup, and here we go. Real in-person conversations. Obviously you're going to have an in-person meeting where you bring people together to discuss real estate investing. Open and honest intentions. You've got nothing to hide. You certainly are you're intending to serve people. Always safe and respectful, and they do have rules on this, by the way. You can read them all here in the community guidelines, so you can do that on your own. I won't do that here in tonight's webinar. Okay, and always put your members first, and they are absolutely correct. We call it prosperity through service. You serve first, and you prosper as a result. And if we agree to all this, we're going to agree and continue. Okay. And let's see what next. Congratulations, Des Moines Real Estate Investors Forum for parents of preschool kids. All right. The next steps are customize, okay, review, and announce. So I'm going to go only so far with this tonight, and the reason is at some point they're going to ask me to pay, and obviously we're doing this as a demonstration. So I'm hoping that some of you folks in Des Moines actually will do this group because it's a pretty powerful group. All right. Any case, let's see if we can get to customize and review and announce, because you can certainly use Meetup to announce your meeting, okay, upcoming meeting. So tell all your members about yourself. Okay, I'm a real estate investor and broker. Let's do next. Okay. What would you like to say to new members? Welcome aboard. And obviously we'll say more than that, all right? Now, invite your first members. Inviting friends is the best way to get your meetup up and running. Invite friends to join. Well, let's not do that now, okay? In any case, here you go. You got your initial group is set up here, all right? You can see here, hang on one second. I know why they didn't charge me for it, because I've already got a group. All right, so let's do this. Schedule your first meetup, okay? Whoops, sorry guys. Sometimes my cursor's a little bit on the jumpy side. What should we do first? First thing is you wanted to, we can click on required. It tells you have to put something in here, okay? What should we do first? The basics. Seats are limited to 50 people, so register ASAP, all right? In fact, that's when I put in my one that I did in Albuquerque, actually a few months ago. Date and time, So we're going to select, let's choose Thursday night, 7 p.m. Okay. Let's see. Recent places found, at least only my members can see where this meetup is happening. We don't really want to do that. How to find us, you can put your website in there, my investment services.com. In details, you can fill in your details, okay? Now, automatically repeat this meetup. Yes, we want to do that. You click on edit and click repeat, every month. Okay, let's just do that. Repeat by months. All right, third Thursday every month. I like that, so we'll keep that. All right, charging for this meetup. Now, ironically, they want this to be essentially community oriented, and here they are letting you charge for your meetup, which you certainly can do. All the RIA groups do it. RSVP settings, you can have people respond to you, and you'll get a notification via your email. And you can ask question when members RSVP. So you can put something in there like, what is your biggest challenge investing in real estate? Okay. You can also, RSVP settings, we want to find out no attendee limit, limited to 20 attendees. I think I put 50 up there originally. Let's make that 50. Okay. Allow members to go with up to 2 guests. Yes, you can do that. All right. Members can RSVP starting now. Now, what I would do is this. You can, starting now, we can do that. All right. Also, we want them to no longer be able to RSVP the day before. So let's say one day before. We can stop accepting attendees registering one day before. So you know how many to count on if you go bring in food, for example. Okay. So it's an awesome way to schedule your event. We're going to click on schedule this meetup. All right. And it's announced. There you go. Now, the irony is I just set this up going all the way through. I will likely cancel this because I want some of the folks in Iowa, Des Moines particularly, to obviously do this. In any case, we just went through Meetup. You can certainly review this webinar tomorrow if you want to refresh your memory, but also download that webinar that I just showed you about 15 minutes ago from the silver level membership section. Okay, and before we continue with tonight's subject, let me bring the panel over and look for your questions. And it looks like we got let's see, more. Okay, hang on, let me go back to the top of the questions. Okay, that was Jonathan's email, or sorry, question. We did that. Okay, so Jeff Williams, so Jeff, that was for multi-units. That's good. Excellent. Okay, Christopher's in Des Moines. There you go. Okay, this is from Alicia. Gary, should you only have one group, or can you have more than one group? Alicia, you can definitely do more than one group. In fact, we call them splinter groups. So if you've chosen a niche, let's say you've chosen a retired Army, and you're in an area that has an Army base. That's why you probably have retired Army guys hanging around there, because they've been there for quite a while. Start with retired Army first, Alicia, and once that group is up and running, say you're 3 months in, it's stabilized, you've got some guest speakers coming in, things like that, go ahead and create a splinter group. In other words, for Army, we would have you create the investors forum for Army reserves. That would be a second group, somewhat related to the first group. They're both Army, one's retired, one is in reserves. And a third group could possibly be active duty Army, all right? So what that means is you could have 3 different meetups, 3 different weeks out of the month, and the 4th month just take off, right? I mean, excuse me, the 4th week just take off. But splinter groups work very well because once you're in with one group of people, it's easier to form a group for a related niche. Okay, so take dentists, for example. You've got a general practitioner dentist, you've got pediatric dentists, you've got orthodontists, you've got reconstructive guys, You know, just all kinds of different groups. You know, we've done it with teachers. You can do public school teachers. You can do university level teachers, like professors, for example, which is a really good group, actually. But what I'm getting at is, Alicia, is yes, you can do multiple groups. We encourage you to do groups that are somewhat related, because it just is going to make your life easier. If you choose groups that are completely, totally unrelated, you'll find yourself working very hard. And one of the examples of that would be, let's say you do work with Army. That's 3 different groups there within one category. And the good news is, if you ever want to do joint events like an annual picnic for all of your clients, it's going to be a whole lot easier getting a picnic going for a bunch of Army guys, because they're all going to be in the Army. Either they're retired, they're active duty, they're on reserves. You'll get a great turnout. They'll form bonds and relationships amongst themselves. But if you have a group of teachers and a group of mechanical engineers, I'm not saying they won't get along, but if you have a joint venture, you might have a hard time getting a lot of engagement and interaction between the members. You follow what I'm saying? So the answer is yes, multiple groups is we definitely encourage it. However, we just want you to do it within your category. Okay. So let me go back up to Alicia, make sure we got. So Alicia, let me know if that helps, or if you have more questions on that subject. That was an excellent question, by the way. This is Brian. Hey, Brian. Brian is asking, what are the meetup cost levels? So I wish I could start from scratch here, because I'm already a member, Brian, but I do recall, as I recall, I think it's like $15 per month. It's very, very affordable. And they often will run specials, particularly around the holidays, where you can, they'll give it to you for half price, actually. So we had people create meetup groups back in December and January for literally $7.50 a month. I mean, that's like the bargain of the century. So those are some of the costs. They will give you a little bit of a cost break if you sign up for 6 months or a year at a time. I forget what those discounts are, but if you go on, Brian, and play around with it, you'll be able to see what the costs are. And I don't know that this time of year they'll offer any discount, because summertime is very active. Remember, Meetup is used for a lot of purposes. People, kayaking groups, hiking groups, snow skiing groups, all kinds of different groups can form meetup groups, and they all do. In the summertime, it just tends to be more active, because in most places, like Canada, for example, you can do more activities in the summertime, right? And obviously in the winter, we're playing hockey and running around in snowmobiles and ice skating and skiing and things like that. But the summertime, there's more people are more active. So in any case, I think the discounts are usually associated around the slower times of the year. So what I want to do is this, guys, next is I want to talk about the workshop itself. So let me spend the next few minutes talking about that. If you have more questions, absolutely, please type them in. All right. Now let's say you've got your Meetup set up. Then don't just rely on Meetup to go out and reach out and grab your contacts. They will do that for you, and you'll have people. Well, we've had people. As a matter of fact, the girls that did their meetup in Alabama, Hoover, Alabama, back in March. When I checked their meetup group about a month ago, Tanya Smitherton and I were talking about it. At that point, they were up to 271 people. And a lot of it comes from your activities on Meetup. However, you absolutely should promote this through other channels. In other words, you've got a database of clients with email addresses. Make sure you notify your existing clients of this Meetup group, okay? Also post it on your Facebook page. Also put it on LinkedIn if you're on LinkedIn. If not, you probably should be. Twitter, all of those online channels can be used to boost your registration rate, okay, people signing up for your meetup, okay? Very, very important that you use multiple, and by the way, you can call people and invite them directly over the phone too. There's no reason you can't. You can send something in the mail. Send them a little note, in a mail announcing your meetup. All kinds of things you can do. You can also put bulletins, flyers up like at places that allow you to publicly post flyers, sometimes grocery stores, libraries, bus stops, some other public buildings will let you do that too. Promote it any and every way you can. All right. Now, the next thing I want to tell you is actually extremely important. There's a big difference between the registration rate and the show up rate. Okay, and some of you on the call here have experienced that dilemma. So we really encourage you to send out reminders 24 hours in advance of your meeting in 3 different forms at 3 different times. So in other words, the day before, what you might want to do is send out, or all meetup group on your meetup form here, do a post to remind people of the meetup occurring the next night. Okay. Now, the later that night or early the next morning, send out an email to all the people who registered, reminding them of the workshop that night. And then a few hours beforehand, and this is going to take a little bit of time, but text everybody. Just create one text and copy it over and over again and send to everybody who's registered for your meetup. It won't take a lot of time. Let's say you got 30 people registered. You can do 30 text messages by cloning, cutting and pasting the message, probably within 3 minutes, okay? And also phone calling people, right? But I wouldn't do all those, do 3 of those, okay? So meetup reminder, email reminder, text reminder, and phone call. Yes, you can even put it out on Facebook. The reminder can go out on Facebook. You can remind people via LinkedIn. Okay. The bottom line is when you send out multiple reminders, it increases your show up rate. So, for example, there was another student, Anna Jenkins, who did one in February, and she had, and within 24 hours, by the way, she had 48 registrants. She did her first meetup group, 24 signed up for the meetup, and 16 showed up. That's not bad. That's a 2/3 show up ratio. That's actually pretty good. Tanya, let's see, Manisha and Beth, they had 29 register and 24 showed up. They had a really good show up rate because they sent out reminders. In any case, that's how you get people to register, and that's how you get them to actually show up. Now, at the meeting itself, and we'll talk more about this in the next webinar if you guys want, but this is really, really important too. The workshop you're going to have is not going to be like something you might anticipate that you've normally seen from others, which is a group of people show up and you get up there and talk the whole time. This isn't going to be like that. This is going to be interactive, engaging, and very, very informative for your people showing up. What I'm getting at is this. You're only going to speak upfront for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Just get an article aligned about real estate in your area, bring it in and talk about that article. And then right away, have people break up into groups by subject matter. So one table could be talking about flips. One table could be talking about buying rentals. One table could be talking about landlord-tenant issues. Another one could be financing. Another one could be rehab. There's all kinds of subjects, right? Now, in the beginning, you might only have 20 people, so just have 3 tables, rentals, flipping, and wholesaling, for example. And then as it grows, you're going to want to ask people who come in, the ones that that is, to volunteer to be a table leader, okay? And the reason is because you're going to not be able to be at all the tables all night long. You can jump around from table to table. But have people as long as you can trust them, sit at the table and kind of facilitate the conversations. And more importantly, you want to always bring in something for the participants to do. So remember this, definitely write this down. Always bring in samples of properties. You can bring in the booklet, for example, all right? So Dennis, back to your question earlier, bring in your most recent booklet and hand them out, okay? It not only promotes you, but it gives them samples of properties. It gives them tools they can use, calculators and worksheets and things like that. And this is the most important part of the workshop, is you want to have the people in the room practice using the worksheets on the sample properties. Remember, they can be active listings, they can be sold listings, they can be listings that are under contract. The point is you're giving them exercises to work on to sharpen their skills, and get really used to using your forms, which are the forms that we give you. So what this does is a couple things. It gets them engaged or rolling up their sleeves or getting busy. They're taking action, okay? They're showing you they're willing to commit. They're engaging with you and others. Those are really important things to witness in your potential clients. And they're also using the tools that you're being trained to use, which means now you're going to be working in concert with your clients. You're all using the same, singing from the same song sheet, so to speak. Say that 5 times fast. But you get the point here, is instead of having people do things different ways, have people learn how to do things the same way, all right? And it allows you, and it results in you having more profitable relationships for you and your clients, okay? So that's really, really important that you remember that part of it. Now let me do a quick pause here and check for questions, because we just went over a lot there. Okay, if we do have a question from Dawn Ray. Hey Dawn, how are you? So Dawn is asking, okay, none of your key parent or preschool kids, but rather RE, how does Meetup? So I'm sorry, Dawn, I should have spent more time building that example for you. All I was doing was just going through the steps of using Meetup. If I was really doing that for real, like if I was one of these students in Des Moines, I absolutely would put in keywords and key phrases that identify parents of preschool children. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. And I apologize if I was going to provide an example, I should have provided it more thoroughly. And I apologize for not doing that. But the bottom line is everybody, absolutely. If you're creating a niche group, so like I gave the example of Army, absolutely put in their keywords, retired Army, or if it's Army Reserves, put that in there, or active duty Army, or put in the Army base that's close by. Okay, but the bottom line is you definitely want to identify a group. And so Dawn, the reason that's very important is this. Every other real estate investor group is only using real estate terms, typically. And what happens is the results get diluted. They end up getting a lot of people, but they also get a lot of tire kickers and things like that. When you niche it down, when you create a group around a particular niche group based on a common interest, okay, common character traits, generally speaking, you have higher response rates and higher conversion rates because they're all cut from the same cloth. They're all, birds of a feather flock together, and they want to see each other succeed, and they feel like you're doing this specifically for them, which you are actually, okay? You're speaking to them directly. You're not doing a group for everybody. You're doing a group specifically for Army, retired Army or parents of preschool children. So they feel more special, and they should feel special because they are special. And, if they might start to think of you as one of them, even if you never served in the Army before. And I'll give you an example. Chiropractors. I've worked with a lot of chiropractors, and I've had another person tell me this, by the way, that the chiropractors the newer ones started assuming that I was a retired chiropractor. They thought I'd had a business, and I started investing, and I started teaching the fellow chiropractors how to invest. The fact is, I never was a chiropractor, but they started assuming that. And I'll give you a big hint here. You definitely want to be on the September webinars. We don't have the exact one picked out yet, but I have a special guest. Brian Devine is his name, and he is from the Colorado area, all right? And he markets specifically to dentists, and he's looking to break into the chiropractor business. So he's going to come online and give us a lot of keywords and key phrases and language patterns that he uses to teach dentists how to market and promote themselves. So the win-win is he's going to have you guys online who are serving dentists and chiropractors, and we want you to give him referrals, but more importantly, he's going to share with you how he attracts and services these guys, which is exactly what we need to know. So keep an eye out for the announcement for September for Brian Devine. He's in one of my mastermind groups, and he's an excellent service provider. So in any case, back to this. Back to the workshop. From time to time, you don't want to do this every single month, but let's say maybe 3 times a year or 4 times a year, so every 3 months or every 4 months. You do want to bring in a special guest, okay? Bring in somebody related to real estate that will help your clients. So a lender would be a good example. Bring in a lender who is comfortable with investor loans, all right? Maybe another time you could bring in an inspector so they can tell your clients, here's what inspectors look for when they're inspecting vacant rental unit, for example, okay? You can bring in an appraiser, so for your flippers, the appraiser can say, hey guys, here's what's really working now to get higher appraiser values. Bring that kind of person into your workshop, right? Bring in an attorney to talk about landlord-tenant issues and how to actually successfully evict a bad tenant, things like that. These are things you can do to add a little pizzazz to your workshop. And every one of them, by the way, you should record. You should always have a video camera recording it and post the recording on your Meetup website, your Meetup page, excuse me, also on your Facebook page, on your YouTube page. If you don't have YouTube, you should get a YouTube account. And also send it out via email. Okay, that's an awesome, awesome way to attract new potential clients and workshop participants. Okay, well, tell you what, guys, we're pretty much at the hour. Let's go ahead and stop at this point. It's a good breaking point. I do want to give you a couple more things to write down there before we go. These are websites you can check out and tools you can use. Some of them we've talked about before, but please write this down. Rebo Gateway, R-E-B-O space Gateway, is a paid service that allows you to locate owners of properties in specific circumstances. Like they do what we do. They look at court records and public records and your tax assessor's records to help you identify at the address level people you can send letters to. So let's see, that was Jeff. So Jeff, in your area, Rebo Gateway may be an excellent tool for you. I know it's going to cost you $30 a month, but believe me, it is well worth it. So if you're not able to get the information you need from your county's websites, use Rebo Gateway. Another one is called Reference USA. Reference USA. Now that's just for the U.S., but allows you to get different databases and drill down from the state level to the county level to the municipal level, all kinds of things like licensure databases. Who are the chiropractors in your county, for example? Okay. Another one is called BRB Hub, and that allows you, whether it's in U.S. or Canada, okay, to locate different resources online to help you find information that helps you be more productive, right? You can find public records, you can find tax assessor records, you can find planning commission website data, all the kinds of data is on there. Those are all available to you, by the way. Most of them are free. And if you go to the silver level membership section, just remember, scroll all the way down to the bottom for resources, and you'll find a sheet of all these databases, okay? So just want to throw that in an extra little tidbit for you tonight. We will continue with workshops in 2 weeks, which will be, no webinar next week. The next one will be the following Thursday, August 31st, okay? And also, I apologize, we didn't get into financing, so we'll get into financing on that one also. But in any case, welcome aboard to all the new folks, and welcome aboard to all the veterans. The cool thing is literally 6 out of 7 of the veterans are staying on even after their first year, which is a huge help to the newer agents and newer investors. There's a lot of joint ventures going on the community site. Please get on the community site and look around, create your profile if you haven't. And also, the other materials available to you for free. Remember, you can go to the silver level membership section again, scroll down to the bottom, and all the other books on wholesaling, flipping, buying rentals, property management, they're all there for you for free, guys. As members, just grab it, take what you can. It's all free. We're glad to give it to you. Who knows, it may lead you to focusing for yourself on flipping, for example. So God bless you all. I appreciate every one of you. I hope you have an awesome week ahead, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Okay, good night.